Give it a second here. It's now streaming live. Great. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Apologies for the late start to this meeting, which is actually my fault. So welcome to the meeting of City Council of Westmount for July 19th, 2021. Bienvenue au conseil municipal de la ville de Westmount pour le 19 juillet 2021. We have some important nominations tonight, which we'll speak to in the later part of the agenda, but I think we'll begin with some updates. I think some councillors have some very quick updates. I'll hand it over to Councillor Bostock. Did you have an update? No, it's just Councillor, I think we're starting with Councillor Gallery.
Yes.
If I'm not wrong. Okay, great.
Okay,
thank you.
Great. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a few quick updates. First of all, I'd just like to let everybody know that effectively on Saturday, the reservation for swimming access has gone from 75 to 150 people. So we've doubled our capacity. Additionally, we've doubled the senior swim to 64, and the lap swim remains status quo at 32. That is working super well. Just a quick note to let you know that for youth hockey registration, that will begin August 3rd. I will send a speak of another reminder early August, and the following hockey registrations dates will be announced later on. I'd like to remind everyone that we have free classes in Westmount Park this summer, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. All the information's on the website. And with regard to the library and community events, we still have a few more pop-up concerts in Westmount on Saturdays, July 24th, July 31st, August 14th. Please don't miss them. They're great so far. And don't miss the online mystery walk, and take the time to look at our new story walk in Westmount Park. It's really well done. So enjoy the rest of the summer, rest of July, and thanks.
Thanks for the updates. And yeah, it is good news about the pool and that we can allow more capacity, but we still have to work on the reservation system. And unfortunately, especially for kids, for young kids that don't know how to swim yet, we still aren't allowed to allow swimming lessons. But the moment we are given the green light for that, we will be ready to offer them. So thank you for the updates on that. And again, I think we have to take every opportunity that we can to really encourage people to get the second dose. I think we were diligent and good about the first dose. We really need to get the second dose. We put in a request to the Séance last week to have a possible pop-up vaccination site in Westmount. So we'll see if we're able to do that. But there really isn't much of an excuse because there are vaccination sites very close by at the Glen and at the General. So, and I know that you can walk into Bill Durham with no appointment and basically no lineup. So get the second dose so we can get that much closer to operating all of our programming in the ways that we want. So on that note, I think that's it for updates. Does any councillors have any last minute updates they want to add? No, we're good. Okay, we'll move into la première période de questions. Monsieur le greffier.
Merci, Madame la mairesse. On a reçu quelques questions aujourd'hui, submitted via our online form. And our first question received was from Diane DeRucci. Her question is as follows. As a longtime resident of Wood Avenue, I am shocked by the overwhelming infestation of rats in our area. These rodents are commonly seen in front and backyards, in laneways, lounging on outdoor furniture, and in at least one incident in a homeowner's basement. Our local mailman says he has never seen so many brazen rats who are now seemingly unfazed by humans. This is not only a health and safety issue for residents, but can become an expensive problem to mitigate when rats infest a home. My question for council, does the city have a concrete plan to control and eradicate this outbreak?
Mrs. DeRucci, thank you for your question, and I will certainly I will make sure that it is transferred to our through urban planning to our health and safety inspectors, and they will come up with a plan for the area. We do sometimes see this when the construction sites and when we dig down, but that doesn't make it. That certainly doesn't make it pleasant for residents. So it is something that we take very seriously. And your question, I believe, has already been transferred to our urban planning team who will make sure that the health and safety inspectors take a look at that. Does Councillor Shammy, as the councillor for the district of Mrs. DeRucci, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? I feel like you are frozen over there. So yes, Mr. Shammy is frozen, but
I'm still frozen. Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you. Yep. I can hear you through the walls, but not via Zoom. So I will, we will pass on your comments and your concerns, and we will make sure that that there is some action taken on this issue. Okay, thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our next question is from John Fretz, and his question is, good evening, everyone. A recent experience I had biking in the afternoon on Sherbrooke Street while crossing Victoria Village can only be described as murderous. It was like an accident waiting to happen. Speeding motorists don't give bikes the 1 meter clearance required by law. Bike icons are a step in the right direction. However, the city needs to provide safe passage through Victoria Village. A bike path with reduced through traffic, lower speeds, etc. would significantly improve the Victoria Village experience, which would be good for local shops. My question is, can the city paint urgently required bike icons? Thanks, John Fretz.
Thank you, Mr. Fretz, for your question. I believe that this is on the agenda of the Transport Advisory Committee, which is coming up, I think, next week, that we had mentioned at the beginning of the month in July when you had raised it, and it's on the agenda for that meeting. So does anyone else want to comment on that, or we can get back to you once it is discussed? Thank you. Next question.
Our next question is from Dan Lambert of the Association of Pedestrians and Cyclists of Westmount. And his question is, when de Maisonneuve closed at Atwater, transit traffic along the Green Melville section declined. But we continue to observe many drivers from Green or Clark using de Maisonneuve to access transversal streets, particularly Metcalfe to head up Côte Saint Antoine. However, the pipe repairs limited de Maisonneuve traffic to the few local residents, so thousands of pedestrians and joggers feel safe using the street. We believe the city should provide a safe street to walk during COVID and preserve this unique experience enjoyed by thousands of residents by limiting traffic to de Maisonneuve residents, visitors, and deliveries, an idea enthusiastically supported by many residents. We would like to meet the mayor to discuss how a pilot project could be implemented simply until winter.
Thank you for your question. And Mr. Lambert, I think we confirmed today that we are going to meet on Thursday. So I look forward to walking de Maisonneuve with you on Thursday morning to discuss ideas of how we can ensure greater pedestrian safety along that and cyclists along that important east-west artery of Westmount. Next question.
Now a follow-up question from Dan Lambert on a similar topic. Partially due to COVID, many Westmount residents, including adolescents and families with young children, have started cycling. Unfortunately, most of Westmount's bike paths are uncomfortable or unsafe, as illustrated by recent cyclist falls along Lansdowne. Frequently, cyclists must swerve out of bike paths into driving lanes to avoid broken asphalt, and downhill sections of Lansdowne and the Glen are narrow. To avoid broken asphalt, and downhill sections of Lansdowne and the Glen are narrower than design norms. Both the Lansdowne Danger Zone and Sherbrooke Street have no protection, and bike parking is sorely lacking. All these issues discourage potential new cyclists. If we submit a list of suggested upgrades, will the city consider budgeting funds to upgrade cycling infrastructure in spring 2022?
Thank you for your question, and I would be happy to talk to you about some of your ideas for upgrades on the bike paths in the city. And the challenge to get more bike paths and safer ones with further measures, and it's hard, and I appreciate all the input of Mr. Lambert and the Cycling Association. I was at a soccer game yesterday in Bois-Franc, and so you look at a new city or a newly built city, and it's part of their roads. It's the cycling infrastructure is there. It's because it's new and it's built in. Our challenge are narrow streets. And an already built city, but it doesn't mean that we can't rise to the challenge. So I will happily meet with you and hear some of your ideas. And it's great timing because it's before the budget's coming in. But it's I look forward to our walk through the city to see where we can make improvements. Is that it for questions?
We have two more. This next question is a second question, or rather follow-up question from John Fretz. On August 18th, 2020, begins Mayor. On August 18th, 2020, you are quoted in Westmount Independent, page 7, in response to a council question on promoting a bike path on Sherbrooke Street. You said, "I wish it would be possible to pull up a lane of traffic. In fact, this has been successful for years on super busy Park Avenue, the same width as Sherbrooke Street. The center traffic lane favors peak flow periods with a green light. Reducing a traffic lane offers a wider shoulder lane on each side, making it safer for people getting in and out of parked cars, as well as safer for bikes. Mayor, how can we expect to move forward on traffic and cycling issues if you haven't apparently visited success stories?"
I'm not sure what that means. I have been, I'm all over the island of Montreal, and so I have seen lots of success stories for bike paths, as I noted before as well, in newer developments where it's planned from the get-go, and it's safe infrastructure. So I have seen the Park Avenue one. So it's, if he would like a list of different streets that I've looked at for bike paths, I can discuss that with him. But I think what he's referring to is that Sherbrooke Street is 2 kilometers in the Westmount portion, and if we are going to make a bike path along Sherbrooke Street, it should be a longer part of a network in terms of, and that is something that I have always discussed with the AGLO was that it's not just a bike path for 2 kilometers through Sherbrooke. If they are going to do it, it should be a bike path that connects. So I think that might have been what he's referring to in that article. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it. But thank you for your question, Mr. Fretz.
We have one more question. This last question is from Dennis Bureau, and his question is, Park Restaurant has expanded its terrace to the pavement on Victoria. This is an excellent move as the extra space provides greater separation among customers. In the interest of equity for all Westmount restaurant owners, how do other restaurants apply for this permit? Are the requirements for this on the city website somewhere? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Mr. Bureau. And I think I will hand it over to Councillor Lallam. But yes, I've seen the new installments at Park Restaurant, and what many of our restaurants across the city have done. And they are innovative, and they are being used by people, and they are a great use of space. So I'll hand it over to Councillor Lallam, who can give you more details on the process involved.
So the process is through the Urban Planning Committee. The information is on our website. It was introduced last year. We held webinars with all of the merchants. They were all invited, not all attended, but through the Two Merchants Association, the information was also put out. And so you see Nick's restaurant on Green Avenue took advantage, Bago expanded theirs, and now we have Park on Victoria Avenue. So we are encouraging with COVID for our various restaurants to have outdoor terraces, to expand them, to give them other opportunities to do that. And the information is available to all. We also had some seminars, some Zoom meetings this spring on funding that was available from the PME Montréal. That's still ongoing for all, open to all restaurants, catering businesses as well, to get up to $25,000 in funding towards terraces, COVID type seating and separations, but it can also be used for promotion and communications. So that's also, the link is on our website, and I would urge all merchants to try and take advantage of that. I know a few have.
Great, thank you for your update and the details on that. Is that it for questions? Perfect. We will move to item number 4 with Councillor Gallery, the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the agenda of the regular council sitting of July 19th, 2021 be adopted with the addition of the following item under new business. number 13.01, nomination, Director General.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder on that? Councillor Shammy, all in favor? Hands up, everyone. Carried. Confirmation, l'approbation du procès verbal. Encore le conseil gallery.
I move that the minutes of the regular council sitting held on July 5th, 2021 be approved.
Thank you. A seconder on that is Councillor Lulham. All in favor? Carried. Reports to council. There are no reports tabled. There's no correspondence tabled. Councillor Gallery 6.2, le procès verbal du comité plénier.
The minutes of the general committee meeting of council held on June 21st, 2021 are tabled and are available on the city's website.
Thank you. Item number 7, modification policy on alcohol and drugs in the workplace. Councillor Shammy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Whereas at the sitting of October 2nd, 2018, Council adopted a policy on alcohol and drugs in the workplace. Whereas the City of Westmount wishes to maintain its legal obligations to protect the health and safety of its employees. And whereas the changes to the policy are intended to cover all prescription and non-prescription drugs that may impair function, not being restricted to cannabis, I move, Madam Mayor, that the attached modified policy, alcool et drogue en milieu de travail, be adopted.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder on this motion? Councillor Bostock, any further comments on this?
Straightforward.
No, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Item number 8, nomination, Executive Assistant, Office of the Director General. Again, Councillor Shammy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that Ms. Catherine Skinner be appointed to the position of Executive Assistant of the Office of the Director General, Grade 11, effective July 20th, 2021, in accordance with the salary recommendations of the Director of Human Resources Department as stipulated in decision-making file number 2021-1314, and according to the terms provided for in the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel. And that the appointment be on a permanent basis once Ms. Skinner has completed a maximum probationary period of 12 months in accordance with Section 2 of the Working Conditions and Remuneration of Management Personnel.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Gallery. I'd like to comment on this, Councillor Shammy, if you'll allow. Just welcome to Ms. Skinner's been working with the DG's office now for a few weeks, and she comes to us from Hydro Westmount, so she is familiar with the inner workings of the city, but she's a great addition to our City Hall staff, and so she's been supporting our 2 interim Director Generals, and we look forward to continuing to work with her. So welcome officially in your new position, Ms. Skinner. All in favor? Carried. Item number 9, call for public tenders program to clear lines of vegetation. And this is, item number 9 is Councillor Shammy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $123,930, including tax credits for the program to clear lines of vegetation, tender number PUB 2021-039, and to award to Arboriculture du Beauce, Inc., the contract for this purpose at its bid price for a maximum amount of $142,488.52, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the call for tender PUB 2021-039, and finally to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2021-1313.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder on that? Councillor Lulham, any further comments? This is clearing the trees around our hydro lines. All in favor? Carried. Item number 10, modification to a contract, reconstruction of 2 manholes and work on electrical conduit banks. Councillor Cutler.
Madam Mayor, I move that the contract award to CMS Entrepreneurs Généraux Inc. for the reconstruction of 2 manholes and work on electrical conduit banks, resolution number 2021-06, 140 be modified and increased to a maximum amount of $613,906.31, all taxes included. That an additional expenditure be authorized in the amount of $58,146.31, all taxes included, for the reconstruction of 2 manholes and the work on electrical conduit banks with CMS Entrepreneurs Généraux Inc. To allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making files number 2021-1281 and 2021-1317.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder on this motion? Is Councillor Bostock. Any further comments on it?
So we approved this in the beginning of June. In the project, there's additional excavation that's required, and that's the bulk of this. So anytime that we need to, anytime that a contract is going to be more expensive than originally approved, we come back to council, we don't just approve it. And so I'm asking that we approve this $58,000 increase.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. Item number 11, numéro 11, avis de motion règlement 1575 constituant un comité consultatif d'urbanisme. Councillor Peart.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. I hereby give notice of the intention to submit for adoption at a subsequent meeting of council bylaw number 1575, entitled Bylaw to Establish a Planning Advisory Committee. The object of this bylaw is to replace bylaw 1320 to establish a planning advisory committee with a new bylaw establishing on a new basis the composition, roles, and responsibilities of the committee, as well as certain rules of operation. A copy of the draft bylaw is tabled and available for public consultation.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peart. A seconder on this, I'm sure, will be Councillor Lullum.
We don't, sorry.
No
sorry.
second.
Oh, we don't vote. Yeah, we don't vote on this. Okay. Do you have any further comments on this, Councillor Peart?
I'll just mention a couple of highlights. As the overview says, it's a lot of it is administrative. We are kind of tweaking the composition of the committee. So whereas before we had one maybe two councillors with 5 professionals, a minimum of 2 architects, 2 urban planners, and the 5th individual being either urban planner or architect, and with 5 substitute members. Now we have 2 councillors all the time, 5 professionals, minimum 3 architects, 1 urban planner. The last member could be either a planner, a architect, or a professional from a related discipline. So we're trying to open up the bench to have a wider diversity of expertise on the team. And previously, one of the professionals was designated as the chairperson. Now one of the councillors will be designated as the chairperson. The reason for this change, I think you've heard me speak before, that we're doing a lot of foundational work in the city, especially with respect to urban planning bylaws. This is another one of those keystone changes where we are tightening things up, making sure that our bylaws are harmonized across or docket of bylaws. And with this process, we are trying to, again, streamline the process a little bit so that we have reviews which are not split across different teams, and so that we can have a more consistent basis of our reviews of documents. So at the end, we anticipate that it will improve the customer experience. And like I said, it's just one of many changes that are in the queue that will help or upgrade or update our list of bylaws.
Thank you very much for that explanation as well. Item number 12, again, is you, Councillor Peart, urban planning approval of site planning and architectural integration programs.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. I move that, according to the recommendations made by the Planning Advisory Committee at its meetings held on July 6th and July 13th of 2021, the conditions for the issuance of the building permit applications appearing on the attached list, reviewed under bylaw 1305 on site planning and architectural integration programs, be approved.
Thank you very much. A seconder on this will be Councillor Lullum. Any further comments or significant projects on this list that you want to highlight?
Significant projects this round. It's a lull in the usual barrage and the usual torrent of applications.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, very important item on our agenda tonight. Item is listed under new business. Item 13.1, nomination Director General, Councillor Shammy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have the honor to move this motion tonight. Whereas according to Section 71 of the Cities and Towns Act, the council shall appoint by resolution such officers, employees as it deems necessary for the administration of the city and shall fix their salaries. And whereas on April 1st, 2019, the Municipal Council adopted the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel. And whereas the position of Director General is currently vacant, and whereas the Director of Human Resources recommends the appointment of Mr. Hadi Hakim to the position of Director General, I move, Madam Mayor, that Mr. Hadi Hakim be appointed to the position of Director General, Grade 1, effective August 9th, 2021, in accordance with the salary recommendation of the Director of Human Resources Department, as stipulated in the decision-making file number 2021-1326, and according to the terms provided for the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel, that a maximum amount, and that this appointment be on a permanent basis once Mr. Hakim has completed a maximum probationary period of 12 months in accordance with Section 2 of the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel. And I just like to say, félicitations, Mr. Hakim, welcome aboard.
Yes, and I would reiterate that. I just, so as many know, that we've been in search of a new Director General since our previous Director General, Mr. Hirschby's retired, and I am continue to be and will always be grateful for the work of Mr. St. Louis and Mr. Campbell coming back to assist us in this transition period, and also assist me with this very important task of the search for a new Director General. So the work that they've been able to do and the counsel and advice that and the leadership that they've brought to our team of directors has been incredible. And so we are very grateful to them for that, but also for helping us in the search. And Mr. Hakim comes to us from the city of Laval, where he was the head of public works. And prior to that with the city of Montreal, and he has a very long CV. He's an engineer by training with an MBA, with a focus on the HR side of things as well. But we really believe, I mean, he was an outstanding candidate, and we are very pleased that he is, we were able to offer him this position and that he's accepted, and we look forward to him getting to know our directors as well as our citizens and the work that we have ahead of us. So welcome, Mr. Hakim. We look forward to the many, many projects that you will have ahead of you. But you are joining a great team of directors, and you are joining a great city. And just as a note, Mr. Hakim has also worked in Côte St. Luc, so he has some experience with demerged cities. That's where he began his career. So we are really looking forward to you joining the team and leading this organization. So bravo and welcome. And so now we just need to vote on it. And typically this would be, you know, in a non-COVID time, it would be in the council chamber and we'd, you know, all take a photo, but we can't do that. But I know he's been able to spend some time with each council member, which they got to understand his background a little bit more, some of the ideas he has. So I'll let them vote, but you will be a very welcome addition. So all in favor?
Sorry, first we need a seconder.
Oh, a seconder is Councillor Cutler, and all in favor? Carried unanimously. All right, perfect. That brings us to the end of the agenda. And now we will, if there are any questions in the second question period, if not, we will adjourn the meeting. Any questions?
No questions received for a second question
Okay,
period.
we will see you at the beginning of August. Thank you for joining us tonight. The meeting is adjourned.